All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for more Fire Force. So let's go ahead and get started, shall we? Yo, peoples, Fuchū92 here, and welcome back to yet another live reading of Fire Force. Today, we are going to be checking out Volume 23 of this series, titled Relics at St. Raffles. And we got a little bit of a synopsis here on the back, but I don't really read those. Let's just move on to the summary, shall we? The Holy Soul Temple has joined forces with the Evangelists to rescue Captain Obi from their clutches. Company 8 teams up with Joker, and together they storm Fuchū Grand Penitentiary. Shinra fights through the press of death to gain the upper hand against Burns, only to see Burns impaled by a one-eyed demon. As the rest of Company 8 struggles against the attacks of the Destroyer Dragon, more white-clad enemies appear, and Haomiya states that they will kill all but the pillars. Company 8, Shinra, and Joker move to retreat. Then, in the midst of the chaos, a mysterious personage calling himself Moonlight Mask suddenly enters the scene. So, yo, Shobotai, good to see you! Today we have chapters 196 all the way down to 200 and... Hold on, 196 all the way down to 204? Is this right? Hold on, I gotta get my Roman numerals right. Y'all know these numbers mess me up. Hold on. Is this right? I don't think this is right. I think they got the number wrong. Yeah, it's supposed to be 1 eye for 204. It's supposed to be 204, but when you're writing Roman numerals out, if you're going to 4 to another number, you only have 1 eye, and then it's supposed to be 1 eye, then 2 eyes, then 3 eyes, then 1 eye, and then a V, and then V, and then V, and then the eyes. But here, they kind of incorrectly put the Roman numeral for 204 as having 2 eyes before the V. So that's what threw me off. But it's chapters 196 all the way down to 204. Okay, we got it. So let's go and get started. Halster, good to see you. Welcome. We just started the volume. One moment, s'il vous plaît. Who goes there? And we have an individual standing on top of a flagpole, telephone pole, as he's rubbing his chin going, I am Moonlight Mask. Chapter 196, Moonlight Rescue. And there's a lot of Matois all around the ground because they were thrown towards the ground. Who do we know that uses a lot of Matois? Matoi banners. Those clothes. You're Benimaru from Company 7. One moment, s'il vous plaît. I am Moonlight Mask. And then we go back in time to when before Benimaru set out. Much as Asakusa hates the Empire, there's no point in becoming their enemy. Is that why I have to wear this stupid thing? And wear your hoppy coat backwards. Listen, Waka, you can throw them off by saying one moment, s'il vous plaît. And then Benimaru takes one section of his hoppy off, and he starts throwing fireballs at all of the white-clad. You know, you see Haomiya and everyone else, including Arrow and everyone, in the midst of this. Captain Shinmon! Now's your chance. Grab the Matoi. And then it shows Charon jumping towards Benimaru. And there's an explosion in front of Benimaru, and Benimaru is completely unscathed from Charon trying to punch and explode him. He's completely fine. Then it shows Haomiya trying to use her powers on Benimaru, and Benimaru Benimaru is just blocking everything from everybody. This dude had the limitless barrier before Gojo even showed up. Benimaru has his own shield up, and it bounces off Haomiya's electrical signal. much to her surprise. Then we have Inca trying to draw a line to blow him up, but it completely goes around his barrier, much to her surprise.
What did he do? He's controlling all heat in a 4-meter radius.
This man created a barrier for himself that completely controls all the heat, which means any heat-based attacks around Benimaru are not going to work.
The moon. Moonlight.
Because the shape of this barrier around Benimaru is in the shape of like a full moon.
One moment, s'il vous plaît. What does that mean?
Then it shows Captain Obi flexing as much as he can, but then all of a sudden, flaming playing cards from Joker come sailing in, and it hits Captain Obi all across him, and it also destroys all of the firebugs, the infernal bugs that were trying to get into his skin. So Joker pretty much just saved Captain Obi and destroyed all the bugs.
Good job hanging in there, Obi. That was close. I thought I was a goner. We better hurry. The white-clad goons have us surrounded.
Shinra, what happened to Captain Burns?
A demon. Right in front of me. He got Captain Burns. I couldn't save him. He said it was up to me, but
And then Shinra finally loses consciousness, of which Captain Obi catches him.
I see. So Captain Burns passed you the baton. Captain Burns took everything I threw at him. He fought for this country to his very last breath. Let's keep it safe for him.
And then we have Shinra again.
Here, right now, on his big bulky shoulders, I feel warm and safe. This is how the nation, how our world should feel.
Then we have a Matsui that flies in front of Joker, Obi, and Shinra. Then we have Benimaru.
You two, grab the Matsui. We're getting out of here.
And then we have people screaming,
We're up so high! Whoa!
oh wait, that's licked.
We're up so high!
And everyone's yiping and yiping. But then we have Maki, who's enjoying this because she's riding on the Matsui. It was Shinra who said he took everything I threw at him. Oh, yeah, it was him. Yeah, it was him.
Captain Burns took everything I threw at him.
He fought for this country to his very last breath. Let's keep it safe for him.
Sorry, I got his face mixed up with Captain Obi's, even though Captain Obi's face is completely clean, and Shinra is the one covered in marks and everything. Thank you for letting me know that, Halster. But, you know, everything else was read out just fine. But Maki's enjoying riding on the Matsui as she's going,
I feel like a real witch now.
Because you know of her style of combat and also her own uniform. And then we have Hinawa. Captain Obi!
Hey, Mr. Toughest, you better scram too. I'll cover you. But I'm surrounded by people who'd actually be worth fighting. Even you can't take them all on your own. No, wait, maybe you could. I don't know. Some of them are pretty scary.
As it zooms in on Dragon, who's just staring up at Benimaru.
EI form. EI chop. Form 1. Kagets. Fire moon.
And the whole area just gets turned into, just gets erupted with flames, and Charon gets hit by it, while Halmia's hiding behind him, and he smiles as he goes, counter! And he launches it right back at Benimaru, whose ability to control all heat around him just causes it to just dissipate as soon as it hits his heat shield.
Whoa, these people are freakishly strong.
Then it shows Dragon launching towards Benimaru, who just easily bounces away out of the path of Dragon.
EI chop, form 7, Nichirin, sun wheel.
And he uses it right on Dragon's face, but Dragon is completely unscathed.
What was that? A mosquito? This dude's a monster. Hey, quit playing around. EI chop, form 2, Gekko, moonlight.
And the whole area just gets brighter and brighter in front of Dragon, who actually starts to close one of his eyes. And then Charon screams, "Halmia, get back!" And it just shows everyone flying away on the Matois, far away from the Whiteclads.
Well, that went well.
Everything happened just like you predicted, didn't it?
Indeed. Amaterasu, me, Sho, Shinra, Natako, and then him. As of today, we found all of the pillars. We have everything we need. Begin the final preparations. The day this planet burns to cinders is almost upon us.
As night starts to fall, and that's the end of chapter 196. Onwards to 197. Farewell. And we're back in Asakusa as Company 8 and everyone else flies in. And we have, the subordinates of Benimaru and Conro seeing them. Hey, he's back! Looks like he brought Company 8 with them. Where's Obi? As it shows Captain Obi flying right next to Joker, Benimaru, along with Shinra. And Shinra is just very much unconscious, to the point where Captain Obi had to strap Shinra to him in order to keep him from falling off during the flight. And then everyone lands on the ground, as stylishly as they can. Then we have one dude. When I say one dude, it's just it's just a regular person, nobody worth noting, but it's one of Benny's dudes. Waka! Oh, sorry, I mean Moonlight Mask.
Don't. Some of them are hurt. Patch them up.
Will Shinra be okay? He's pretty beat up, but he'll pull through. Over here! Hurry! My friend's in critical condition! Hang in there, Arthur. I stopped the bleeding with some first aid spray, but he needs proper medical treatment. Nice and steady. Don't jostle him. We'll look the rest of you over too. This way. And then Captain Obi's just looking on. Thank you for taking us in. If you hadn't come along, Captain Shinmon, they would have wiped us all out.
I was honored to help. Our companies have pledged loyalty to each other after all. But what the heck happened to the Empire? Tell me everything.
Special Fire Guard House 7. Then him is a mistranslation? Then him is a mistranslation? If it's a spoiler or something, keep it to yourself, because I haven't gotten to that point yet. I have no idea what you're talking about, but all the same. Special Fire Guard House 7. The Holy Soul Temple has joined forces with the Evangelists, so Company 8 had no choice but to cede from the Empire. Your hunch was right, Waka.
Darn. If only my instincts were this good when I'm gambling. Is what you just told me true?
Yes. Captain Burns of Company 1 has been martyred. You said a demon got him. Was it one of those doppelgangers Ibana was talking about? Yes. I don't know what they're up to, but the Whiteclad were trying to summon a demon. Throwing a wet blanket on a man-to-man fight. That's low. I'm sure they'll blame Company 8 for Captain Burns' murder, which will only strengthen the alliance between the Empire and the Whiteclad cult. Talk about a worst-case scenario.
Why did Burns fight you to begin with? To get Company 8 to leave the Empire? No, he's not that kind of guy.
Then we're here at Special Fire Station 4, and we got Ogun with Pan.
Captain Pan, can I talk to you?
And Pan whistles.
First Captain Hogaway was killed, now Captain Burns. What's happening to the Empire? Company 8 has fire soldiers, like us. Are we just gonna sit back and do nothing?
Company 8 are fire soldiers.
Company 8 are fire soldiers, like us. Are we just gonna sit back and do nothing?
Calm down, Ogun.
Are we really gonna abandon them?
And then he blows in his whistle and goes, Ogun, let me finish. There have already been 2 victims. We can't let there be any more.
Meaning,
We're going to help Company 8. Then we're at the Grand Cathedral, Special Fire Force Company 1. As everyone in the cathedral is present, I guess giving a eulogy for Captain Burns. And we have a coffin, as we have Onyango, Lee, and Kareem.
rest in peace, Burns. Latom. Why are we praying in front of this coffin? There's nothing in it.
And then Lee is quiet.
Captain Burns had a private funeral, attended only by Company 1. They say he died in the line of duty, pursuing the wanted criminal Akitaro Obi. The official announcement states his cause of death as homicide at the hands of Shinra Kusakabe. They're calling Company 8 traitors, mortal enemies to the Empire.
This is just making the look of the public image of Company 8 even worse now.
But that can't be true.
Kareem, do you remember the last thing Captain Burns said to us?
How could I forget?
And then we go back in time to when Burns was speaking to them last.
Huoyan, Kareem, I have dedicated my entire life to prayer. It's too late for me to start living any differently. You will be the ones who change the world. I want you to think about the things that are about to happen. You're in charge while I'm gone. I'm going to Fuchū to pass on the message. I'm sorry for being such an irresponsible and stubborn old man. Captain Burns was trying to change something. He built Company 1 and we're going to protect it. It's our turn to take responsibility.
What are you going to do?
There's somewhere I have to go.
Then we cut to Special Fire Combine 5 with Captain Hibana.
Princess, where are you going?
I'm going back to the place where I grew up.
St. Raffles Convent.
And that's where Kareem is going. And we're going back to where it all began and went downhill for Captain Hibana. And that's the end of chapter 197, onwards to 198, Flower Garden Memories.
St. Raffles Convent. The convent's crest shows the Holy Soul Cross surrounded by flowers. The convent has admitted 113 sisters. Several orphan girls were raised as nuns within its walls. The nuns offer prayer, reverent daily prayer, sincere prayer, offering their thanks to God. They eat 3 meals a day at morning, noon, and evening. These meals consist mainly of nutritious vegetables, nurtured with an abundance of sunlight. Naturally, the nuns grew the vegetables themselves. The custom and the convent's crest led to a tradition of naming the nuns after plants.
Because it shows throughout these panels just how these nuns live. Yo, Byron, we just started 198 of Volume 23. And Kareem and Hibana have all resolved to go to the old St. Raffles Convent of where Iris and Hibana have come from.
This custom and the convent's crest led to a tradition of naming the nuns after plants.
And then it shows Hibana standing, I guess, on the outskirts of this place as well, and she's offering prayers as well.
Sister Sakura, I hope you're not making too much mischief. Sister Clematis, try not to be too picky about food. Sister Sumire, I hope you're still taking care of everyone on the other side. But what really happened here?
As she's standing in front of the ruins of St. Raffles Convent. Because remember, the whole place went up in flames. Yet it's still here, albeit burnt down. And then we have someone walking up, and it's Kishiri.
Kishiri, you wait there.
I'm your bodyguard. I can't let you get too far. And Kishiri is the same, Toru Kishiri is the same dude from her company that's using the bubblegum explosive. He has bubblegum explosives. He's there as her bodyguard. I'm your bodyguard. I can't let you get too far.
Impure punks like you have no business treading on sacred convent grounds. If anything happens, I'll call you.
Huh? I followed her all the way to the edge of the Empire, but she's as cold and distant as ever. Special Fire Combine 5. And we have Toru. We go back in time with a flashback. As Toru speaking to, I guess, one of the Angels 3? Oh, you're done training? When you get as good as me, training like that is no sweat, you know? By the way, wanna grab a bite to eat later? There's this one place, it's practically impossible to get reservations. Hardest in the Empire. I happen to be friends with the owner. I could pull some strings and get you in. Well, what do you say?
Cool.
Kinda laying it on a little bit thick, ain't you there, Toru?
Trying to look good by going on and on about yourself. Only dumb girls fall for guys like that.
Oh no. What's this I'm hearing? You want to know more about me? As he's kind of conceited a little bit.
The desperation of ugly men is truly depressing to behold. Also, your hair is revolting. It's filthy and it needs to be cut.
Because now it shows that Toru has cut his hair. Are you too late? Alessia, we are on chapters 198 right now. So you only missed 2 chapters. But technically, you're not really that late. Everyone else can bring you up to speed of where we are currently. But you haven't missed much. It's just that, actually, you know what? I can do it. Company 8 has escaped from the White Clad. The White Clad tried to fight Benimaru, but Benimaru has shown that he has an excellent control over all heat around him. So even the attacks of Charon, Haumia, and even Inca don't even work against him. But he does acknowledge that they have some freakishly strong people in their ranks. They escape, and everyone's being tended to. There was a funeral for Captain Burns, and now we have Kareem and Hibana who are making their way to the St. Raffles convent, which is burned down, and now we have Hibana here, who has Kishiri as her bodyguard, and, well, here we are. But it shows that Kishiri did, in fact, cut his hair. At least now I don't need to style my bangs every morning. It just goes to show how much Captain cares about me. Maybe she likes me? Sorry, dude, but there's only one guy that's on her mind, and he is currently recuperating.
He's so creepy. Why is everyone in Company 5 so gross?
Hug me and squeeze me! The moment I make this my solemn vow that I will never act like this when I get my own girlfriend. Because it's like, hug me, squeeze me, I can't wait to see you tonight. I will probably never do that. Hug me and squeeze me. Then it shows Hibana. It shows Hibana walking inside the convent as she puts her hand up against the wall. And then she's hearing laughing as we get memories of Hibana when she put her hands up against the wall when she was still a young nun.
Sister Clematis, over here! Wait for me! Sister Hibana! We heard there's a beehive over there. What? A beehive? They're dangerous. That's why we want you to come with us, Sister Hibana.
And then it shows Iris just looking at some flowers, as the rest of the young nuns are walking away.
You're coming too, aren't you, Iris?
You don't even have a girlfriend, so it's arguably even more creepy. Yeah, it is.
You're coming too, aren't you, Iris? What? But, are you sure it's safe? Someone could get hurt. Don't worry, I'll make sure nothing happens to you.
And you're being generous when you say arguably.
Don't you trust me?
And then Iris' eyes light up and she starts smiling.
It's at the top of that tree! Are you sure this is a good idea? We'll be careful.
And then we have one of the head nuns going,
I know what you're up to, trying to get close to an insect's nest. Huh? But why can't we, Sister Sumire? We just want a little look.
And this is Hibana talking to Sister Sumire.
Anyway, it's time for prayers. This can wait until later. Yes, sister. We're coming right back when we're done. Sakura, are you serious? I heard that. Ah!
And then we're back in the present.
Sakura was always making mischief. Those were the days. Nuns are not trying to control girls that age. Sister Sumire really had her work cut out for her.
And then she goes into the building and she starts walking around. And then she takes a stance, like a battle-ready stance,
Now Iris and I are the only ones left.
as her finger starts to crackle with fire. And she thinks about when the convent was on fire, and she heard the screams of her fellow sisters. You even see them engulfed in flames, being taken by the flames.
I swear on St. John's wort and its exorcising powers, I will avenge you!
And then she starts looking around, taking pieces and inspecting things as she's walking around this place.
This place is falling apart. The fire destroyed everything above ground.
And then she starts seeing a empty section, she starts seeing the empty space across the floor, and she wonders.
But underground?
And she starts tapping her foot. She starts tapping her foot everywhere, like tapping her heels everywhere, and she starts walking around in this space.
There has to be an entrance to the nether here somewhere. If I can find a clue to the doppelganger mystery, I should also be able to unravel the mystery of spontaneous human combustion.
And she starts clacking around with her heels, and then she looks at her watch.
A large empty space below should register at a low vibrational frequency from the surface. Now, where is it?
And she clacks her feet on the ground, but this one produces a different sound than the rest.
Huh? A lower frequency.
And then she does it again.
No doubt about it. There's empty space down there. This is where our dining table was. Maybe there's an entrance to the nether nearby? Somewhere the nuns would never get close to.
And then she looks around, and then she looks at the one spot that the nuns would never get dangerously close to.
The altar.
And then she starts clacking her feet, getting closer and closer, and it's still registering that lower frequency sound. The one thing I like about this is that when it shows this sound effect, it has it like enlarged, but when it gets to that spot for Hibana, the sound effects like shape, it starts to lower. It starts to get smaller, as if to say like, okay, the sound's a bit quieter here.
That has to be it. The mystery of the doppelgangers is hidden under this altar.
And that's the end of chapter 198, onwards to 199, Slumbering Truth. And Hibana's looking at the altar.
Under the altar, there might be an entrance to the nether here. But it's so big, how am I going to move it? Stupid rock!
As she tries to kick it, but since she doesn't have heavy-duty boots on, she winds up kind of hurting herself because it shows that her leg is throbbing afterwards.
It didn't even budge. This altar. What did we call it again?
It's called the offering altar.
And it's Kareem and Lee.
Are you sure you used to be a nun?
You? What are you doing here?
I wanted to contact you about a certain subject.
Contact me? So you came all the way out here?
I wanted to ask you something about doppelgangers.
You know? Darn it, Kishiri, you weren't supposed to let anyone in. Well, you can see where the matter stands now. I've determined that there is something under this altar. But now I'm stuck. There's nothing I can do to move it.
Allow me. Can you light a flame under the altar?
Are you giving me orders?
I'll do it, goes Lee, as Lee steps up, and then Hibana goes,
No, I can do it.
As she puts out her fan.
Rose whip and tangle!
And flames in the shape of rose-like vines with thorns attached to them make their way underneath the altar.
Thermoacoustic cooling.
And he freezes the vines, and that causes the altar to lift up and tip over in front of everybody.
Let's hope it was worth it.
And as the dust settles, there is in fact a secret entrance underneath the altar itself. And Kareem opens it up. Oh, I can't wait to see what the rest of this volume holds. And it opens up into some stairs that leads underground.
I knew it! Stairs leading underground!
Why would a sacred convent? And then everyone makes their way downstairs, Hibana using her powers to create like a flower of light so they can see.
It looks like the underground structure wasn't affected by the fire.
Oh, great sun god, please forgive us. And they enter into a pretty clean room that's full of books and all sorts of different things in here.
This was under the convent? I had no idea.
This goes against the Holy Soul Temple's doctrines.
It appears your hypothesis was correct, though. I was hoping it wouldn't be.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 stone pillars, the same number as Adolaburst pillars.
I smell a smelly rat.
Let's look for clues.
And it's like Fred from Scooby-Doo saying like, all right, gang, we gotta split up and search for clues. Scoob, Shaggy, you guys go downstairs. And then Hibana's looking around.
Somewhere, there's got to be clues about SHC. The convent fire wasn't an accident. I'll find proof of that here.
And she's dusting off a book.
A book? About plants? It's just an average, ordinary book about plants.
I'm not gonna look at chat until I see what happens. I'm just gonna be fully invested. I'm ignoring you, chat, right now because I want to know. And then we have Lee. Here's another one. It's a manual for raising crops. Captain Hibana, any thoughts on what this is? Okay, another grammar thing. Captain Hibana, any thoughts on what this all about? Or what this is all about? Captain Hibana, any thoughts on what this is all about?
Crops. What would that have to do with?
Oh, and then it shows some of the nuns. It's showing some of the nuns around flowers. Oh. Whoa, wait, what does this mean?
No, I'm just overthinking it. This one's a book on insects.
And then she's thinking about how their food is being watered, and she starts shuddering. I'm still not looking at chat yet. Then we have Kareem.
Insect specimens. Plants and insects. None of these books are about anything unusual.
But then it shows a plant, like a leaf, with a bug on it. And then Hibana starts sweating even more.
Why would they go through the trouble of building the secret room just to store materials on plants and bugs? If we assume that the nuns here were made into infernals through doppelganger experiments conducted at the convent. But there aren't any clues about what exactly those experiments entailed. So what really happened here?
I'm still not looking. I'm invested in this chapter right now. And then Hibana puts her hand towards a book. A cookbook? And it shows the nuns eating food. Whoa, wait. Hold on, let me keep reading.
This place is just a boring old library.
But Hibana hasn't stopped sweating as she's thinking about all the food that they ate. All the food that the nuns were eating. And then she pictures in her mind a bug skittering through the darkness. And then Hibana almost barfs. What's the matter?
Does this mean that for years we...
Did you think of something?
They were growing them. Like they were growing crops. They named the nuns after flowers.
What in the what are you trying to say?
So there's a clue here after all.
They named us after flowers. Then took bugs and...
And then it has Sister Sumire going,
flowers and bugs go hand in hand. You know that. Sister Sumire!
Wait! I thought Sister Sumire was dead! Hold up! I'm not looking at chat still. I'm not looking at it. What? Why? I thought she was thinking about Sister Sumire talking to her in the past. Why is she here?
Flowers and bugs go hand in hand. You know that.
much to the surprise of Kareem, Lee, and Hibana.
Sister Sumire? Sister Sumire, indeed. I am happy that you remember my name. How are you here?
And that's the end of chapter 199. Onwards to chapter 200. Holy Mother of Darkness. Explain yourself, sister. And she's just in the dark.
I'd like to ask you the same question. What brings you back to this place? Does this mean it was you, Sister Sumire? You started the fire? You're here to find answers? Sister Sumire, what were you doing down here? Oh, I thought you'd already found that answer.
And then both Kareem and Lee are looking kind of pensively right now.
Doppelgangers? That's my girl. You always were an eager student, coming to the grown-ups to see if your conclusions were correct. Those were the days. Cut the crap! What were you doing here? Answer me! Oh dear, it's not like you to simply ask me to tell you. You were using the nuns here to do doppelganger experiments! You lied to devout children so you could make more pyrokinetics! You nuns were all so innocent, so meek. Exactly. We looked up to you.
And then Hibana looks over at the specimen of bugs off to the side.
You exploited our love for you. You mixed the Dola bugs in our food and fed them to us for years.
Wow. Okay, so that just confirms what I was thinking the whole time I was watching, but I didn't want to say anything until I got like a concrete answer. They were feeding them Adola bugs. They were feeding the nuns Adola bugs to turn them into infernals and try and create more pyrokinetics. See, that is even more twisted than simply injecting people with Adola bugs. You're feeding them to children. That's even worse than Rekka trying to do it.
She fed you bugs to create pyrokinetics? What do you mean?
I'll tell you the truth behind spontaneous human combustion. First, the mass combustion of the nuns at this convent was a result of Sister Sumire's doppelganger experiments. A doppelganger is another self from Adola. She was trying to summon them here to our world.
And you're saying that summoning is done with these bugs?
Bugs are Adola life forms. They're the bridge between our world and Adola. On Adola, there are just as many other selves, just as many doppelgangers, as there are people on Earth. I suspect that when a doppelganger intrudes into this world and assimilates its other self, that's the real cause of spontaneous human combustion. But what is Adola? I knew you could do it, Sister Hibana. You found so much of the answer. It really is true. Gifted children grow into gifted adults.
So spontaneous human combustion is what happens when Adola bugs are injected into people, and the people are then turned into the doppelgangers of them. This is crazy. So spontaneous human combustion is people being turned into their infernal doppelganger selves by way of the Adola bugs. Because it's not just people just becoming regular infernals. No, people are becoming the infernal versions of themselves that exist in Adola. And the firebugs are turning them into them. Assimilating the person they were so that the infernal these doppelganger infernals can exist in that person's place. I need a moment. Wow. Okay. This is even worse. This is even worse than in all my dreams. I could have never thought of what the true cause of spontaneous human combustion was and how it happens and what it is. But now that I know, this is so much worse. So not only are these people losing themselves completely, but they're being replaced by burning infernal versions of themselves from another world. They're basically being assimilated over by these infernals in their place. And that person's just gone. Okay, I was not prepared for that information.
It really is true. Gifted children grow into gifted adults.
Y'all better prepare for me to have these long speeches about me thinking about these things, because now we're in uncharted territory. Oh! But then the whole place starts rumbling. An earthquake?
What are these pillars? Thanks to my experiments, we have all the pillars. All of the pillars? You were doing experiments to create Adola Burst pillars too? But you were doing experiments to create Adola Burst pillars too? But the only ones who survived the fire are you, me, and Iris. Wait. No. The 8th and final pillar has yet to realize what she is. She is the doppelganger of the first pillar, Amaterasu.
Sister Sumire, was it? What did you do here? And then Sumire loses her... Wow. Hold up, before y'all say anything at all. Before y'all say anything at all. What you mean? Let me continue. Sister Sumire, was it? What did you do here? And Sumire doesn't say anything.
You mean Iris? How many orphans had their lives ruined, turned into playthings for your evil experiments? I think it's time we ended this conversation. I'm going to bury you alive now.
And then Sister Sumire her whole body just tenses up with power and fire. We're not here to fight. Whoa, wait a minute.
When did these experiments start? Were you using this convent as your laboratory for years, even before we came to live here?
And then the whole place starts shaking. Another earthquake. And then it cuts to Lee, who's in front of Sister Sumire. And Sister Sumire, as Lee's reaching for her, she swats away his arm.
Pulsating elbow!
And she hits Lee with such force, this man goes flying backwards. Hibana, let's light some flames! But then it shows the... Yo! Sister Sumire, I don't know what type of ignition power she has, but she just drags her hand across Kareem's entire horn and it just crumbles. Does she have fire vibration powers? She has fire vibration powers because she completely shatters his weapon. All she did was touch it. And then it shows Sumire putting her hand up to Kareem.
It's cold underground, isn't it?
And then she hits Kareem with vibrations and hits him from the inside. Because he starts bleeding from his mouth and nose and he immediately drops to his knees.
You must be Kareem, to steal my heat all at once like that. Rekka was a good boy with a strong sense of justice, and so much energy I could hardly keep up with him.
You raised Rekka too?
What are you trying to accomplish? You were always so full of curiosity. I'll answer your question as a gift before you die. The Great Cataclysm 250 years ago was a failure. There wasn't enough pillars. They didn't have enough energy.
What you mean the Great Cataclysm was a failure? Oh, wait, I get it now. I get it! Them trying to repeat the events of the Great Cataclysm is not them trying to do the exact same thing, but trying to do what the Great Cataclysm failed to do, which was turn the entire Earth into a sun. Cause that's the evangelist's goal right now. We're gonna turn the whole world into a sun. Oh wow, okay.
The Great Cataclysm 250 years ago was a failure. There weren't enough pillars. They didn't have enough energy. The world didn't burn up entirely. I have been working to create pillars for the next Great Cataclysm ever since.
So I'm right. I'm just going off the information I know. The Great Cataclysm was a failure because it didn't it didn't scorch the entire Earth. Now they're trying to repeat the process, but they have more pillars this time.
For 250 years? What are you? Does that mean there was no SHC before the Great Cataclysm? Then what is the Great Cataclysm? If SHC is what happens when doppelgangers assimilate individuals, then is the Great Cataclysm what happens when all of Adola tries to assimilate our world?
Wait. Hold up. I just had a thought.
I must say, it really does feel chilly today.
As Sister Sumire continues to shake, and she shakes the whole room. I believe this is her whole power.
Another earthquake?
When she attacked, she hit me with a strong vibration. Wait, are you causing the earthquakes? What kind of ignition powers can do that?
You will be buried here alive. I'm not just here to solve the world's mysteries. What I really want is to get revenge against the monster who took the lives of my dear friends!
And then Sister Ibana says,
Who said they're all dead?
And then black flame starts to come out of her feet. Oh my goodness! Cause much to Hibana and my horror, out of these flames are small infernal children. I didn't think it was possible. I didn't think it was possible. I never thought I would actually... Infernal children.
Hibana, I'm hot. Sister Hibana!
Demons. Child demons. And these are her friends. These are the nuns she grew up with. These are the nuns she grew up with.
Hibana!
And one of them has freckles. And that's Sister Sakura.
Sakura?
And then Sister Sumire just looks at Hibana without batting an eye.
Hell is closer than you think.
And that's the end of chapter 200. Onwards to 200. Wow. Now I can't watch the anime's first ending like before. Nope. Definitely can't watch it the same anymore. I mean, I can watch it, but I can't view it the same. I'll watch it after I'm done with this session, but... So, we just learned what spontaneous human combustion is. It's when a doppelganger from the world of Adola assimilates over the actual person in the real world. And the Great Cataclysm was deemed a failure because it failed to turn the entire world into another sun. And that's what they're trying to do 250 years later. And now we have this thing about Iris that I want them to say in words before I say it outright. But given that Sister Sumire is saying like she's the doppelganger of the first pillar, that explains why Shinra felt the way he did when he was carrying Iris on his back when they left the what was it, the prayer place to get their stuff, the baptism church, in order to get their weapons baptized. When he was carrying Iris on his back, it felt as if he was carrying the first pillar on his back. And why Iris and the first pillar look so similar. It's all adding up. And you mean to tell me that I have 11 more volumes of stuff to learn after this? What? Let's keep going. I'm bogging it down. Chapter 201, Little Demons. And it has these former nuns as they're coming up out of the flames right around Sister Sumire.
It hurts. Hibata.
And then Sister Sumire is looking there with that unassuming appearance, which makes it all the more insulting.
What did you do to them? You do know who they are, don't you? As Mother Superior, I grant you one last meeting with them.
And then Lee gets up and he dashes straight towards Sister Sumire, and he jabs at her, but it stops right on her shoulder. And in the process, his whole sleeve erupts as if it's been ripped through, and he has cuts all across his arm now. Huyan, get away from her!
You mustn't touch me without warning. You'll get hurt.
Kareem, her powers. I think she weaponizes her body by making it vibrate. She attacks and defends using vibrations. But how can ignition powers generate that kind of movement? Did she eat the Quake fruit from One Piece?
It's a natural function of living creatures. Shivering. We all shiver when we're cold. I simply make that shaking stronger. Shivering is a physiological function in which the body trembles as a reaction to cold. The skeletal muscles start shaking slightly to create warmth. She must be using her powers to amplify that heat and convert it back to kinetic energy, creating super vibrations.
But these earthquakes, if they're a result of her powers, who are you really?
Even ignition powers can't move the earth itself. Unless you're using an Adola burst!
And then the whole ground, the whole roof where Sumire is, like the whole roof where they're in, caves in. And it's Kishiri! Captain Ibana, are you okay?
Nice work, Kishiri! Now help us!
Woo, she gave me kudos. And then we're back to Sumire.
You children really are asking for God's wrath, aren't you?
And then we see, we see the lady! We see the lady in black! We see Sister Sumire in the world of Adola and the lady in black from all the way in China, all the way in the Oasis. She shows up. Yeah, you got her powers right, by the way. I had a feeling it was. Years of analyzing different powers and abilities and just straight up physics. But the lady in black returns.
Sister Sumire, up to your old tricks, I see. Oh, this is a surprise. I was content to waste away in the forest of Xingqingdao, but I mustered up the last of my power to make contact with you. You were always a worrywart. You have been for 250 years, but it's too late now. The human world is on its way to destruction. You haven't changed at all. Not since you and I became pillars 250 years ago.
And then the lady in black fades away. And so does the world of Adola, as we cut back to the present. As Sister Sumire is just looking up as everyone leaves. Let's get out of here while we can.
Thanks.
Struggle all you like.
And then Yo, we get, what is his name? What is his name? What is his name? What is the name of the mole? His name was something. Spock? Not Spock. Scop! Scop! His name is Scop! Remember the earthquake from Company 8 when Company 8 ran from the Nether the first time? It was Sumirai's doing. Man! They were doing stuff even then! That's crazy. I remembered his name as soon as I knew it was something Scop? There it was, but Scop is there. And he's listening in. And as Sumirai says,
Goodbye, woman in black. I will fulfill my role as seventh pillar. I do say, it is quite chilly. We need more flames.
As she walks back into the darkness, and you still see the eyes of those infernal children as she walks back in there. And then we're back on the surface. And then we have everyone just dealing with all this information. The earthquakes have stopped. She doesn't seem to be following us. And Kishiri is just silent and nervous. Then we have Hibana thinking about those children.
Sakura. Clematis. The cause of spontaneous human combustion is doppelgangers from the other world of Adola coming to our world to assimilate with humans. And the Great Cataclysm is a worldwide combustion event that happened when all of Adola tried to take over our world.
So, everything I said, everything I said, right here on the page! Confirmation! Confirmation.
What?
What? You talking about me? And this is Kishiri, but he has no idea what's going on.
If all the pillars come together under the Evangelists, it will trigger another great cataclysm, and the world will be destroyed. We have to find a way to prevent that.
Then we cut back to Asakusa. That would have killed a normal person. You're lucky he just barely missed all your vitals. You must have fought a pretty scary dude. And the person in question is Arthur, as he's just walking through Asakusa. And he just sits down. And he just looks up at the sky. And he thinks about Dragon. But I'm a knight. And then he's just looking completely broken. And he takes out the only surviving piece of Excalibur. And it's just this small shard. My holy sword. Is it really a holy sword? And then we have Vulcan take the piece out of his hand. So this is what's left of Excalibur. High temperature carbon. They sell the stuff they sell at hardware stores. It's orichalcum. Orichalcum? The fantasy metal? It's legendary metal. My Excalibur was forged out of orichalcum by dwarf blacksmiths. So where did you find this so-called orichalcum? At the mouth of Mount Volcano. And where is this Mount Volcano? The hardware store. And then Vulcan starts laughing at him. From what I can tell, this isn't real orichalcum. Silence! What do you know? I know that this is definitely high-temperature carbon like you get at the hardware store. I said silence! And then we have Vulcan yanking him by the hood. What's your problem, you insolent cur? You offend the Night King! Hey, Night King. You want to help me find some real orichalcum? What? What do you mean? We're going to find the legendary metal. I'm going to forge you a real holy sword. And then Arthur's entire imagination just takes off as he sees himself as a king with a crown, and Vulcan is a blacksmith inside of his shop that's full of swords and different weapons, and Arthur's eyes are just beaming because his imagination has just completely taken off. But that's the end of chapter 201, onwards to 202, The Night King's Grand Adventure. RPG party, let's go! We got some side quests to do. Those are my weak points. Let me get super strong before I face off against the final boss. But now we're here in Asakusa, and we got you, who we haven't seen in a while. We got you and Lisa.
Orichalcum? I never heard of it. A legendary ore? Is that really a thing?
No.
Oh, Yusan! I got a call from Vulcan and came straight to Asakusa. I'm really glad you've recovered.
And this is Iris speaking to you. Thanks, feeling better than ever. And he still has the little bandage on his head. And he's just looking at Sister Iris. So, what's the plan, Vulcan? You didn't just say the first thing you thought of to make Arthur-san feel better, did you? Hear me out. Arthur gets stronger when his nightly image is enhanced, so we just have to get him to think it's Orichalcum.
Meaning?
Meaning, we're going to make up our own legend. We'll make believe that we're on a quest to find Orichalcum.
So we're supposed to participate in this game? Is that going to work?
Goes you and Lisa. This is Arthur we're talking about. The standards are low, but the more people involved, the better the trick will work. The battle in Fuchū was a sharp reminder that our enemies are true monsters. We don't stand a chance unless Arthur gets a power-up. If we can't take Arthur to the next level, Company 8 is in serious trouble.
Okay, I get that it's important. But make-believe? I don't know, it's really...
Yes, you're right. It's stupid. But we're dealing with Arthur. You can't expect things to be done the normal way. So just dumb it down, okay?
Where's Arthur anyway?
And then Arthur is just fidgeting while they're all talking outside. Fidgeting impatiently outside. We'd better not keep him waiting any longer. I already have some fake Orichalcum ready. Lisa, you, let's go. She's not speaking to me, she's speaking to you. No, not you, you! Let's focus on the main quest, forget about the side quest. That's a little opposite of what they tell you to do for Starfield, and I don't think it makes it any better.
Hold on! You said dump things down, but how far down are we going to go?
Down enough to dig up some Orichalcum! And then both Lisa and yours are just quiet.
He thinks he said something really cool. Yeah, Val's pretty stupid too.
And then Vulcan is just, whistling to himself. And then Vulcan walked out to Arthur. Sorry to keep you waiting, Arthur. I brought some friends. Oh ho! Of course, the classic 4-person party. I think I got a lead on that Orichalcum. Great, we need some intel. After all, Orichalcum is a legendary ore that no one has ever succeeded in finding. I heard a rumor that there's an expert on Orichalcum right here in town.
For real?
The owner of the pickle shop knows about Orichalcum.
Huh?
Why would the pickle shop...
Are you serious, Val?
Chill out, it's fine. Pickles.
Look at him, Vulcan! He's not buying it!
Think about it, Arthur. They use stones to press the pickles, right? So when it comes to rocks, picklers are pros. Oh my gosh! Vulcan, you're a genius! Hidden in plain sight! No wonder no one's figured it out! Awesome! Let's go see what he has to say!
Jeez, I know he's stupid, but wow!
Over here, Arthur. The pickle shop. I.L. Pickle Ya. And it just says I.L. Pickle Ya. And then we have the owner of the shop just looking at everybody. Good sir, tell me where I might find the Orichalcum.
No, wait, Arthur-san! We're so sorry for springing these weird questions on you.
I heard the Orichalcum is at the draper's shop.
What?
And this surprises both Lisa and you, because apparently because apparently the shop owner's going along with Vulcan. Good sir, pray, tell me more. And as Arthur's directly in his face, like, tell me more. The owner looks over at Vulcan, and Vulcan just go like, I heard tell the Orichalcum is at the draper's shop. He keeps repeating the same thing, just like in a video game. Unfortunately, it seems we'll get no further information out of him. This gentleman has pointed us in the next direction. Let us away. Good idea.
Val's arranged the whole thing.
You don't think he'll suspect something?
I knew Company 8 was a bunch of weirdos. He gave me this big lump of iron, but my pickling press, a legendary ore? What nonsense have I been roped into?
And then it cuts to Joker and Benimaru speaking again. Wow, Vulcan really did rope in all of, it looks like he roped in all of Asakusa to help with this quest. But we have Joker and Benimaru!
I see the destroyer of Asakusa likes high places. I'm looking around to see what to bust up next, as idiots tend to do. I've always been an outsider. Me teaming up with the Empire's enemies won't change a thing. But you guys taking Company 8 in? That was pretty bold. Asakusa won't change, either. It's all lies anyway. The country, the world, all of it. They piss me off. Guys higher up the ladder than me, tougher than me. I'd like to wipe the floor with every last one of them. That's awfully violent. Yeah, well, I don't give a rat's behind about what's right. I just want to crush the bastards who get treated better than me and protect the ones who are weaker. That's why no good punks like me aren't meant to lead. Whatever you do is right, and whoever you beat up is the bad guy. Sounds exactly the kind of guy who gets to be king. Stop talking like Conro. Company 8 is getting ready to rumble. There's no way I'm not getting a piece of the action. Besides, we're not the only ones in the world who will side with Company 8. There are other anti-Empire rebels in the Nether.
Wait, sorry, I forgot to unmute.
Besides, we're not the only ones in the world who will side with Company 8. There are other anti-Empire rebels in the Nether.
So this is the legendary shovel? Thank you, and the barber knows about orichalcum.
That's the legendary shovel, and the barber knows about orichalcum.
And then everyone is just repeating their very same lines to Arthur, and Arthur's just holding like a regular shovel. The pickler, the draper, and the grocer, and now the barber. Let us away! And everyone is just continuously looking at Arthur.
Wow, Val, you really got around.
The people of Asakusa love this kind of thing. It really helps that they're willing to play along. Hey, stop dallying! Onward! Let us be off!
You did plan an end to this quest, right? There is a specific place where we will find some orichalcum.
Don't worry, there's a twist ending. And then it cuts to Arthur in front of a tree. This tree is Yggdrasil. I've been told I'll find a hint to the orichalcum under its roots. Now I must obtain the legendary shovel. Isn't that what's in your hand? When did this get here? And the thing is, Arthur's been carrying the shovel in his left hand the whole time and he didn't even notice. But he starts digging up around the tree. I think I see something. A bag with a sheet of paper inside? Oh! It is darkest under the lamppost. The orichalcum is in the first shop you visited.
This is more elaborate than I thought.
He'll feel a greater sense of accomplishment, and his vision will be enhanced more if he solves the mystery himself.
I see. So the orichalcum is at the pickle shop where we started. The legend finishes where it started. It's cliche, but I think Arthur will like it.
It is darkest under the lamppost. Of course! So that's where I'll find the orichalcum. It is darkest under the lamppost. In other words, the orichalcum is in a dark place. The Nether! What? And everyone's like, no! Then we have you.
No! Read it again! It says shop! Right there!
I should have known the legendary ore would be somewhere in the Nether, unseen by human eyes.
He's not even listening. Vulcan, what do we do? I think he's feeling enhanced. The riddle was too hard for him. Of course he couldn't figure it out.
Let us away! To the Nether! What? Now Arthur wants to go to the Nether because he believes the orichalcum's down there, even though it's back at the pickle shop. Chapter 2, that's the end of chapter 202. Onwards to chapter 203. Soon they discover... And we have, I guess, this visage. This visage of orichalcum, and this is from Arthur's point of view. Orichalcum, a legendary ore found on the legendary Isle of Atlantis. An ore so special that it's legendary, which means it must be very rare. The perfect material to create the legendary sword Excalibur. To forge Excalibur with any ore but orichalcum would be unthinkable. I, the Night King Arthur, have discovered the whereabouts of the mighty Excalibur.
You mean orichalcum, right? If you get disappointed when we find orichalcum because you started thinking we were looking for Excalibur, I just couldn't even.
It is written right here on this treasure map. It is darkest under the lamppost. I don't know what it means because it's written in ancient runes, but it says dark. I can read that much, and that's all I need. The darkest place I know of is the Nether. Excalibur is in the Nether!
But doesn't it say right there it's in the first shop you visited? Wouldn't you at least consider the first place we went to today? Like, maybe there's more at the pickle shop.
You can't expect me to remember the first place I went. I believe this note is referring to the place where it all started. Atlantis!
Well, if you believe that, then of course it must be true.
The enhancement is already working. Change of plans, I guess. And then Yu's just awestruck. Onward! To the Nether!
Yay.
And then everyone is following Arthur, but it's like, now Arthur's the one stringing them along. Listen up, you. The first thing about idiots is that they're short-sighted. They don't think. They want to go straight from point A to point Z.
I can see that.
Did you know that the Japanese word for that kind of thinking literally means short circuit?
Wow, really?
You know what happens when you make a direct connection between the plus and minus on a battery, right?
Yeah, it shorts out. You have to put some kind of component between them. Oh, so that's why we use that word to describe someone who makes jumps in logic.
Someone who builds machines can't be that kind of short-sighted. They have to consider problems from every angle. That's how you find the best solution.
Yes, sir. I will take that to heart. But this time you put too many components in the circuit, and the charge didn't make it to the right answer.
I didn't think he'd be so low voltage.
He's like a button cell battery. But this reminds me of the old days. Val giving you important lessons. And you watching over us, Lisa.
And hey, there's no short I can't fix. What are you doing? Find me an entrance to the Nether, quickly! And now I'm gonna have to find a way to fix this broken storyline. And they go to a section of town that leads down into the Nether, even though that's not where they're supposed to be going. We can enter the Nether through here.
Can we really go in? Just go in without permission?
We've already done some very unfire soldier-like things in this quest.
Mr. Fire Soldier! My kitty is in a tree and she can't get down! Help!
I'm engaged in the main quest right now. The side quests can wait until later. Be gone! And, wow, he really is feeling like he's in the middle of a video game right now. And all the rest of them are kind of like, why are you being rude to this kid right now? There's no turning back now. Actually, there is. Shall we?
And now we're in the Nether. So much for maybe turning back. He won't listen. Atlantis, he won't listen. He won't listen! He won't listen!
And then you starts saying he won't. He can't even say he won't listen. He keeps saying he won't listen. He won't listen. He won't listen. You is starting to go insane now, out of fear.
You so scared of the Nether. He snapped.
Well, it is his first time here. And then Arthur hits him over the head. Come to your senses, you!
Knight King Arthur, what in the world was I?
This is the Nether. If you let your guard down, the abyssal boards gaze into your soul. You must keep your eyes open. Collect yourself, or they will take your mind.
Yes, sir! Collecting, sir!
I know what you're about to say. Are you okay being down here? Are you okay being down here in the Nether, Lisa? Does being down here trigger old memories for you?
I've moved on. My fear of Dr. Giovanni is still there, but I know the time will come when I have to get past him.
When that time comes, I'll be right there to help you kick his behind.
They're plotting another great cataclysm, and they're getting closer to making it happen. We're running out of time. We need to be strong enough to stop them.
Then we'll definitely need Arthur, and that's why we need to get him this power-up. Yeah! Is that a goblin lair?
Over there! There's a horde of giant rats!
But I still can't believe his delusions are more effective than actual training. How do flame powers really work? And what in blue blazes is a Dola? And they continue to go through the Nether. Hey Arthur, we're pretty deep. I hope you have some idea where we're going.
We will make it back, right, Val?
A labyrinth is just like an electrical current. I've memorized the way. Hold! I sense something up ahead. Huh? When father and mother vanished from my young life, they said they were going on a journey to save the world. I have no doubt that the two of them were on an adventure such as this.
We've been at this for over an hour now.
Just let him keep going until he's done. There's metal lying all over the Nether. We'll just pick up something and say that's our orichalcum. I can swap it with the alloy I was going to use later. But it isn't safe to wander this far into the Nether just for a game.
Look, let's get the last boss in here and end this.
Huh? And then Arthur is shocked to see flame tentacles, which is the power of Lisa. She causes them to shoot up in front of Arthur.
Turn back! Turn back! I am the ruler of the abyss. Beyond this point is the orichalcum, and I won't let you have it. Turn back!
And then as Lisa's making this voice, Arthur and you are looking at her with Arthur going, Lisa, what is this ridiculousness? You are a grown woman. You is watching.
At least he's not totally stupid. So much for my self-respect.
Stop trying to help. That kind of foolishness could ruin the whole quest.
We've been at this for over an hour! You're acting like a big baby. Aren't you bored of this nonsense?
Lisa-san, speaking of bored, I wanna... And it shows Arthur yawning, and Lisa's like, she's fed up.
Yeah, I wanna kill him! You stupid dog, making us walk all the way down here. I'll show you who the real master is.
Calm down, Lisa. We're doing this to save Tokyo. And then Arthur's face gets really serious all of a sudden.
What happened? He's acting serious all of a sudden.
I sense someone.
Oh, please, Arthur. This is the Nether.
Arthur, are you for real? Stand back. There are two of them. They're coming this way. This is bad. We don't have Excalibur. A knight never reveals his poverty. Father and mother are out there saving the world. I will join my honorable parents in smashing our foes with the knightly martial art, the Avalon stance. And then it just shows this haze in front of Arthur. Who goes there? Somebody explain to me why Arthur's parents are down in the Nether. Why are they down there? For what? What would possess you to... Why are you there? Okay.
Arthur, it is you.
It's good to see you again, son.
Mother? Father?
Oh, look, it's your parents.
Wait, what?
What are you doing here? Didn't I tell you, Arthur?
No. No!
What?
To our beloved son, Arthur. Your mother and father have left on a journey to save the world. The castle is now yours. From this day onward, you are the king. See, I'm with Vulcan because we were all under the impression that Arthur's family abandoned him because they lost all of their money and they were just flat broke and they couldn't afford to take care of both themselves and Arthur. I was under the impression that they dropped him. They abandoned him and left. But the note was... The note says left on a journey to save the world and they're still fine. They're still in Tokyo. But now we have Arthur. Father, does this mean...
No. Wait. What? Yes, it does.
You have been saving the world.
Did you arrange this too, Vulcan?
Of course not. What?
Because Vulcan cannot believe his eyes and neither can I. And that's the end of chapter 203. Onwards to chapter 204. Clan of the Night King. And I believe this is also the last chapter of this volume. Hold on, let me double check. Yeah, it is. You're here to save the world? Arthur's parents? I knew I could count on you, my dearest parents. Father King, Mother Queen, you truly live to your royal titles.
Look at those clothes, darling. Our son has become a fire soldier.
That's my son, fighting to save the world, just like us.
The day you set out on your journey, I became the Night King. Fire soldier and Night King. It hasn't been easy wearing two hats.
My son.
Stop that my son business.
You've grown into a fine young man.
Huh, I'm a knight after all.
It's like there's 3 Arthurs. I'm losing my mind. Excuse me, sir, ma'am.
So you say you're Arthur's parents, and you've been saving the world? Okay, look, this is really surreal, and I'm totally confused. Like, can you just tell me what is going on? Don't think, Vulcan. Feel.
You need to stop feeling and think for a second!
My instincts tell me you are Arthur's fellow fire soldier.
Instincts? I think the jumpsuits are a dead giveaway. We're in Company 8, same as Arthur. And also, your wife just said,
We are the Resistance.
doing our part to cleanse our nation of corruption.
The Resistance? What in the world are you talking about?
Well, to put it bluntly, he thought up this ruse as a way to disappear and escape our debtors, and I've been playing along.
Excuse me? What do you mean?
In other words, we've been playing rebel in the Nether.
You've been down here for how many years? Why in the world would you indulge such nonsense? And this is you.
Well, I couldn't let him go to the Nether alone. It was too dangerous to bring Arthur with us. He was just a child. Oh, I know my husband may have his faults, but I still love him.
So you abandoned your son?
I can always make more kids, but I only have one spouse.
Truly, my mother, so wise. Arthur, you should not be celebrating the fact that your mom says, like, if I abandon my kid, I can always make more. This is literally just like Omni-Man saying, like, what's 18 more years? I can always start again. Make another kid. It's that same logic. Arthur, don't celebrate this. Do not celebrate this. Your mother should not be saying this to her only son. Truly my mother, so wise. And we're doing it all to save the world from disaster.
It appears that the Holy Soul Temple and its worship of the Sun God was created as a way to control the masses. And that a being from a higher plane called the Evangelist is trying to start another great cataclysm and destroy the world.
How did you know that?
Also, that spontaneous human combustion happens when another self from an alternate dimension comes to assimilate us.
How do they know this? We literally just learned this when Hibana was talking to Sister Sumire. But how do they know all this stuff? I'm not gonna look at chat. How do they know all this stuff? Much to Vulcan's shock. Wait a minute! Where did you hear that?
From my delusional husband, of course.
Sir, how did you... How? What a silly question. I'm a prophet.
And he puts on that same cowboy hat he had back during Arthur's flashback.
Many years ago, when food poisoning and a fire put my restaurant out of business, and everything I owned went up in smoke, all I could do was try to escape reality. What am I gonna do now?
Why were you looking inside your hat? Did you see something in there?
And this is young Arthur. Then we're back in the present, because we know the events that transpired after he had this conversation with his son back then.
Since that day, whenever I was stuck, I'd look inside my hat and find a sky full of stars. And as I gazed at the stars and planets inside my hat, I began to understand the truth of our own world.
And it shows Arthur sleeping.
Arthur, Mom and Dad are going on a quest to save the world. We wish you well.
We love you.
I saw it all inside my hat. In the midst of all those stars and planets, I saw the danger our own was facing. That's why we're here in the Nether. We're doing our part to save the world.
Vulcan.
I'd really rather not take this screwy old man's screwy backstory seriously, but our civilization, everything that we think and know were manufactured by the evangelists. And like Vulcan is saying,
this is just too perfect to be a coincidence. This is really fishy. Maybe it's a trap.
And Arthur's dad continues to smile towards him.
So you showed up here. Is that because of a prophecy too? I had a feeling my son was coming. Arthur, you're here to find something, aren't you?
Indeed I am, Father. I came here to find the orichalcum to forge the true Excalibur.
Come with me.
They seem to understand each other.
Don't think, just feel.
You're far too trusting, Vulcan. That's why I was able to trick you so easily.
But we're together now, aren't we?
Yeah, but...
Arthur, are those really your parents? Of course they are. Deception doesn't work on me. I would never mistake someone else for my own parents. But he'll put his sword in his wrong, non-dominant hand. And he needs to look at the hand that doesn't have a sword in it to make sure he has it in the right one.
What a touching reunion in that case.
We were all working to save the world. This reunion doesn't surprise me.
You're awfully philosophical for an idiot.
What's wrong? We're almost there.
And then we cut to a room that's just full of all sorts of things. It's like there's washing machines, there's radios, there's a whole bunch of stuff. I think I see an amp. I see an Apple, I see an iMac. I see an actual iMac on there. I see the shape of the fruit at the bottom of it. You know how not like MacBooks. Not MacBooks, iMac. The big Apple computer with the big screen. Yeah.
What's this mountain of junk? It's like a night at the workshop.
A night?
Not that night. What you're seeing here is technology from before the Great Cataclysm. We collected all of these machines ourselves.
Wow. I don't recognize half of this stuff. Is that some kind of device?
And it's an iPhone. It's an iPhone. No, it's an iPod. It's an iPod. Like a touchscreen iPod. No, actually, no. I think it's an iPhone. I think it's an iPhone when iPhone still had the buttons, the circular buttons in the middle.
Now, where was it? Ah, here it is.
And it's just a big, giant, conical shape.
Behold! Huh? What is it?
Some kind of machine part?
Looks pretty special, don't you agree? Is that the fairing from a space rocket? You know your stuff. Mind if I touch it? This cone is made of a special aluminum alloy with a heat-treated coating. It's tough enough to resist temperatures of up to 3,000 degrees.
The dark matter that drifts through space In other words, a fragment of a star. If we forge a holy sword with this...
No, that's not what it is. Weren't you listening? It's a part of a space rocket. It's not a meter.
Shh! And Lisa's trying to stop him.
Is his vision enhanced?
And then Arthur starts having this big smile on his face, like, like his smile is all the way up his face to the point where he has like a Jay Leno chin. That's how far his smile is. We're back, kids.
Daddy! Mommy!
And we have 3 more kids here. The mom wasn't kidding. The mom wasn't kidding. With you going, who?
Were you good little children?
Uh-huh.
What? No way! Children? What? Why? And 3 of them? Why?
They just happened after we came to the Nether.
Just happened? Didn't you leave Arthur behind because... You! Drop it. Every family has its issues. But wait! This is messed up! Think about Arthur! Why did they have more? They left him behind because you can't bring kids to the Nether! Am I the only one who feels bad for Arthur?
No.
Oh, good. He wasn't listening.
Because Arthur's whole mind is just stuck on the whole rocket tip meteor thing. Arthur, with this, I can forge something way better than with that phony calcum I got for you.
Hello? Vulcan? Do you hear yourself? You just told him the orichalcum was phony! You're gonna ruin our elaborately constructed and brilliantly performed play!
Truly? Vulcan, we've done it at last!
Yay! He's not listening to anything we don't want him to hear!
It's like you is having such a hard time right now dealing with all the nonsense.
What is wrong with these people? I'm scared. It's dark. It's so very dark down here. Well, we took our sweet time getting here. Now we just have to go back up top and make the sword.
This is so sick. Now my vision's being... This is so sick. Now my vision's being enhanced. And this is Vulcan as he's holding up the rocket head. We're gonna do it! We're gonna make Excalibur! To be continued in volume 24. So we got some translation notes, and then we can continue on, then we can call it a session for today until we continue tomorrow. And we got 2 pages for translation notes. Translation notes. We're in the Hoppy backwards, page 10. The Hoppy is the style of coat that Benimaru wears as part of his Hikeshi firefighting uniform. In general, traditional Japanese clothing is worn with the left side, the wearer's left side of the coat on top. It is considered bad luck to wear the right side on top because that is how bodies are dressed for funerals. As such, wearing a happy backwards with the right side on top is a sign that you don't know how to properly wear traditional clothing and therefore could not possibly be a proto-nationalist like Benimaru or anyone else from Asakusa. Sister Sumire, page 85. Until now, when Sister Sumire was mentioned, her name was written with katakana, a set of letters based purely on sound, and it was easy to assume that she was named after the Sumire flower, the violet. Now she introduces herself with kanji characters that give additional meaning to the sounds. Sumi means charcoal, and rei means servant or slave. Stone to press pickles. To make Japanese pickles the old-fashioned way, vegetables of the desired variety are placed. I honestly feel that this is another grammar thing. I keep finding it in every single volume. Vegetables of the desired variety are placed in a container with something heavy on top. This is to apply downward pressure and squeeze the moisture out of the vegetables. I.L. Pickleya. Page 135. Hopefully, the proto-nationalist people of Asakusa will forgive the translators for localizing the name of this pickle shop for the sake of our English-speaking readers. In the old language, it is Sukimono Suketaro. Sukemono means pickles, indicating what can be purchased at this establishment. And Suketaro is a play on words. First, it's a given name for someone who pickles things. Suke, coming from the verb for to pickle, and taro being a suffix for a male given name. It can also be a contradiction of sukete yaro, which means, depending on the context, can mean I'll pickle those for ya or I'll pickle ya. The Destroyer of Asakusa versus the Evangelist's Destroyers, page 138. Now that Captain Shinmon's nickname has returned, the translators feel it time to explain the difference between these two different types of destroyers. Benimaru is the Hakaio, which literally means Destroyer King. You know, Hakai. Or King of Destruction, with a specific connotation of breaking things. In other words, he's the sort of destroyer who goes around busting up people and things. The Evangelist destroyers are Hofuribito, meaning literally persons who destroy, with a connotation of defeat, death, and obliteration. And then lastly, A Night at the Workshop, page 180. In the original Japanese, Yu says he's feeling a sense of deja vu, as if he's back at the workshop. The word for this sensation is kishikan, literally meaning sense of having already seen. Kishi is also the Japanese word for night, so the whole term could mean night sense or feeling of nightliness. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are done with volume 23 of the series. Wow, I was holding this book so long that my fingertips started to get a little bit sweaty there. But we learned so much. We learned that the whole matter with St. Raffles was an experiment to create more pyrokinetics and create more pillars. We learned what spontaneous human combustion truly is. It's not just some spontaneous thing that happens just all of a sudden. No, it's literally taking a person and then having the doppelganger infernal version of themselves in the Adola world assimilate over that person and take their place completely in the real world. And the Great Cataclysm from 250 years ago was a failed attempt at trying to turn the world into another sun, which the evangelists are attempting to do right now. And now we're here with Arthur. And we learned that Iris is a doppelganger. We learned that Iris is a doppelganger of the first pillar. And that's the reason why Shinra felt the way he did when he carried her that one time when they finished getting their weapons baptized. There's just so much information. And we also find out that Sumire is able to bring up the Hibana's old nun friends that she grew up with as Infernals, at least according to Sumire. Can say that you completed the second main part of the story. Congrats. Well, that's cool. But man, there's so much information, and I can't wait to read tomorrow's volume. Oh, chapter 24, and then we'll just be 10 volumes away. Volume 24. Then we'll be just 10 volumes after that until we're done with the whole series. I can't wait to read it. But I'm done, ladies and gentlemen. I had a fantastic time reading this and learning all this new stuff. I enjoyed it so much. I enjoyed it. But I can't wait to read the next one tomorrow. But I'm done. I got to call it a session here because I also got to think about what I'm going to eat for lunch. So to everyone right here, right now, hope you all enjoyed. Can't wait to see you all in my next video. Like, comment, subscribe, even become a member, because I am always looking forward to entertaining you. So have a fantastic day. And once again, as always, later, peoples.